Today we're going to play in the dirt. So it's been a little bit rainy earlier this week and farmers are anxious to get back out in their fields. Some of them will be able to get out sooner than others simply because of the type of soil that they have on their farm. So Drummer, we've talked about, is the Illinois state soil, and we have some of that here on our farm. But as you look out just over this field that you can see in my background, we've got about 6 different types of soil just right there within the next half a mile or so across that field. So lots of different soils that farmers are dealing with. So we know that because we all have soil maps. Now this is still the print version. It's a little bit outdated, but the soils don't change. If a farmer today wants to know what kind of soils they have in any spot on a field, they can actually just go online and find these maps. But this book is just full of field maps. So you find your farm on the map, and then you can look at the numbers and see exactly what soils you have. So I can figure out where to go right back here in my field and find some Drummer soil or find a silty loam. Lots of different, we've got hundreds and even thousands of different kinds of soils in the world. So I've got 4 different soil types for you today. So when we think about our soils, all soil is made up of a combination of sand, silt, and clay. So sand is a lot like what you find in a play box or in a sandbox. So it's real gritty. If you actually look close under a microscope, sand is the largest grain. So those don't hold a lot, the sand doesn't hold a lot of water, which is good news for farmers after a rain because the water runs right on through. Then we have our soil type that has a lot more clay to it. So that's a lot more like Play-Doh. When you squeeze it together, it really holds together, it really holds onto the water. And some of our soils are a nice combination of the sand, the silt, and the clay. A silty soil is a lot like flour. It's fine, but it's not as fine as a clay granule, for example. And then in Whiteside County, we also have a lot of this. So it looks almost black. This is a peat dirt, and we find this in several areas in Whiteside County. It's very, very rich in organic matter. That means thousands of years ago, things that died under the water, so maybe in an old riverbed, they have decomposed and made for a very, very rich soil. Oftentimes that's what you want to use when you're doing some container gardening. So I want to do a quick demonstration here of how water holds in some of our different soil types. So I will take a very sandy soil. I'm going to put a tablespoon here on top of a coffee filter, and then I'm also going to take a soil that has a much more even balance of sand, silt, and clay, and we'll put that on top of a separate coffee filter. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of water, and we're going to watch to see what happens. In the wind, it's going to run right off. And I'll do the same over here. I'm going to add just a little more to this one, and I'm going to hold it up. What happened when I had it sitting on the table, some of it ran right off the side, so I'm going to pour it right on top. And we should see, yep, that water drips through there pretty quickly. Those big grains of sand do not hold on to the water, so it drains right on through. Now in nature, that's a great filter, so that helps to clean our water as well. So for a farmer that has real sandy soil, oftentimes they will actually have irrigation, because if it gets too dry in between rainfalls, then they will need to add water. And you can see this one here, that the clay and the silt in that soil, it held on to all of that water, and it's all still trapped in that soil, so that keeps moisture around